Here we are again, Vincenzo's Kitchen. Another frosty morning here, quite cold out there. I see the snow out the window. Decide to put together some beef stew, some beefy beef stew, and we're just going to get right at it. As you can see on the top of the countertop, we have some potatoes and carrots. We have some onions, some celery, some green beans, and in the middle there we have up some nice cubed beef. Now, before I start this, if you wanted to speed up this process, you could put a dome on each one of the vegetable plates and go for about 5 minutes inside the microwave while the meat is sauteing in the Dutch oven pan, which is my favorite pan. It happens to be a new one, and I've been quite enjoying it. A holiday gift. Or what you can do is how I'm going to show you how I do, is just making it from scratch the old-fashioned way. Another way, you could use a slow cooker, but in my mind it's just not the same with the slow cooker for the beef stew, unless you're really going to let it cook the full 8 hours. All right, so here we go. Without much ado, we're going to start this easy here. We're going to turn our fire on. We're going to put it on relatively medium heat. We're going to take our lid off. I'm going to throw a whole stick of butter in here. This is salted butter. This is gluten-free, so we're not using margarine. Going to let him melt there a little bit before we throw our meat in. My seasonings are going to be rosemary, some nice chopped basil. This is from my garden, fresh dried and chopped. Some nice black pepper. I like that nutty flavor in there. And we're even going to throw in some mushrooms. I didn't have any fresh mushrooms because I haven't been to the market yet. With all this freeze, and being the day after Christmas, I figured I'll wait one more day till the temperatures come up. Our butter is melting pretty quickly, so we're going to take our cubed meat, which I thawed out in a bowl with water rather than to defrost it in the microwave. I didn't have fresh, but I did have some beef. And we're just going to pop him right into the pan. We want our meat to brown, but we don't want to cook it. We want it to slow cook over the course of an hour inside the pan. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit because I want to hear that sizzle. And I'm going to add a little bit right now of that pepper. I like that nutty, earthy flavor in there. Don't worry about using too much pepper, it'll be fine. And we're going to add some rosemary, which for soups and stews and beef is an essential. And we're going to add a few shakes of the basil. I'm not going to put any salt in this. Trying to keep the sodium down. And for later on, for thickening, I happen to have a gluten-free brown gravy mix I'm going to add. So I'm going to fire this up here hot. Coat them with that buttery goodness. The meat will drink that in. I'm going to really fire that up. I want to see some sizzle. I want to see this start to become brown. I'm actually going to put my lid on it. I have some filtered water that I'm going to add to this after we do that. And again, you can take your vegetables if you want to speed this up and pop them in the microwave with a dome. Go for 5 minutes. It'll do a good portion of the cooking for you. Same thing with the onions, which are nice shaped onions. This is a stew, so we want nice big chunks of things. Vegetables in there. And you could do the same thing with that. It'll cut down on your cooking time. I don't want to make this too long of a video. It already smells terrific. I can smell that rosemary and basil. You know, part of the cooking experience is to have those smells in your kitchen. It smells like good food. Got probably another, maybe a minute or so on this meat. It's already starting to brown out. Got a nice bunch of juices in there, which is why I'm cooking it right in the pan, because I want that actual beef juice, the au jus, right in there. I actually think that's pretty good right there where it's at. All right, now I'm going to add my take longer to cook items, which would be my carrots and my potatoes. And I've done most of the work ahead of time. Always to do the work ahead of time is your best bet. So we're going to throw those in there. Got some nice baby carrots. Some potatoes in there. Traditional stew food. And for my last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my onions and my celery and my green peppers right into the pot here. We're going to mix those. We're going to fill this container up. Looking good. I'm going to take my can of mushrooms. Pop the top off of him. It'll add some water and some flavor in there. And we'll add him as well. And as I said, we got 1 cup of water. We're going to pop him in there. Remembering that we're on the high heat here. We've already added our seasoning. We're going to put the lid on our container. And we're going to let this guy cook. I'm going to turn him down to about a medium heat. This happens to be a vented lid. And we're going to let him go to there. After this cooks for, maybe an hour, I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to thicken it up with my gluten-free brown gravy mix. And that should finish it off. So here's another video, old school beef stew, the seasonings that I use, my preparation technique, and the pot that I'm cooking it in. If you try the recipe, I'd love to hear whether you like it or not. It's great old-fashioned beef stew. I think you'll enjoy it immensely. Here's another video of Vincenzo's Kitchen. Remember to be kind to one another. Help your neighbor if you can. All right, we'll see you.